Alright guys, so in this video we are going to be looking at adding and subtracting fractions. So the big thing we talked about with multiplying and dividing, anytime you have mixed numbers, you need to convert all the mixed numbers to impropers first, because all of these rules hinge on our standard fractions with a numerator in the denominator. If we have mixed numbers, there's a little bit more we have to take into account. And so the easiest way is just always to convert them all to improper, and then the rules follow pretty simply. So when I'm adding and subtracting fractions, I need to find the least common denominator and then rewrite those fractions with the same LCD. So you can only add and subtract fractions that have a same denominator. So the goal of this is to get the exact same denominator for both fractions. If they don't have the same denominator, then you must make them match. Once you get the denominators the same, then you are going to add or subtract the numerators and keep the denominator. A lot of students want to add the denominators because we just came out of multiplication and division. We only add or subtract the numerators and then keep whatever the common denominator is. So you don't have to write this, but if you think of this in terms of a pie, if I've got a pizza or a cake and I put in 2 slices, that's 2 out of 8 total slices. If I combine down pizzas, because I've got a couple of left over, and so I have a pizza over here that had 1 slice, and I take this 1 slice out of this box and then I fit it into this box, I now have 3 out of 8. Not 3 out of 16. I keep the denominators the same. The only thing that gets added is the numerators. So this is a model of 2 out of 8 plus 1 out of 8 gave me this 3 out of 8. So that's a very simple version. But what if, like my example, what if the fractions don't match? So what if I have 3 over 5 minus 1 over 4? Well, the easiest thing I can do, I can just make the denominators the same. Well, 5 and 4 are what we call relatively prime, meaning that the smallest, least common multiple that they have is the product of the two. Or if I wrote this out, write my multiples of 5 and my multiples of 4. The smallest multiple that they would both have in common would be 20. So what that means is I need to rewrite these denominators so that they have a denominator of 20. I need to multiply this one by 4 and multiply this one by 5. And so my fraction on the left, 3 times 4 on top, is going to give me 12. 5 times 4 on the bottom, 20. My fraction on the right, 1 times 5 is going to give me 5. 4 times 5 is going to give me 20. And so now I am able to subtract the numerators. Because the numerators were being subtracted in the original problem, I can subtract them. So I have 12 minus 5 over 20. And then, of course, we don't want to leave it like that. We want to simplify this thing down. 12 minus 5 gives me 7 over 20. This doesn't reduce because 7 and 20 don't have any common factors that I could then divide out. So that would be my final answer. So with the next part, I want us to fill in some gaps. I do want to mention that if you color this figure based on the colors below, then you can get extra credit on the next interactive notebook check. We're going to do 3, 4, 5, and 6 together, and then I'm going to give you guys a chance to do the rest, to pause the video, and then check them with mine. So let's look at number 3. 1 and 2 we did in the last class. Number 3 is where we're picking up now with addition and subtraction. So I went through and I already converted them to mixed numbers because that was something we looked at in the previous class. So just to save some time in this video. So I've converted them to mixed numbers. I'm looking at my denominators. I have a denominator of 3 and a denominator of 9. Well, to make those denominators match, I can multiply this fraction by 3 on the top and bottom to make it a denominator of 9. So 3 times 5 on top gives me 15. 3 times 3 on the bottom gives me 9. Now my other fraction already has a denominator of 9, so I'm just going to drop that thing down. And then I'm going to add these. And 15 plus 43 is going to give me 58 over 9. And then I do need to convert that thing into a mixed number. It just depends on the praxis what answer it will ask you for. So 58 over 9 is correct. But then we also want the mixed number version, which is going to be 6. And this is if I'm dividing. So you would do your 9 divided by 58. And 9 times 6 gives me 54. Subtract, and then I have 4 over 9. And again, that was something we looked at in the previous class as well. All right, number 4, again, I already converted them to mixed numbers. So I've got 26 over 3 minus 77 over 12. Another good one because I can multiply just one fraction to make it match the other. I don't have to multiply both fractions like we saw up in the example. So 26 times 4 is going to give me 104 over 12 minus 77 over 12. And then 104 minus 77 is going to give me 27 over 12. And I want to write this as a mixed number, 2 1/4. So either of those answers would be correct. Truly on the praxis, you would just have to pay attention to the multiple choice options to see what it's looking for. 27 over 12 or 2 1/4. All right, number 5, again, I have already converted it to mixed numbers for us. So this is one, 5 and 3, where I'm going to actually have to multiply both fractions by something. So I'm going to multiply the fraction on the left by 3 and the fraction on the right by 5. So 44 times 3 is going to give me 132 over 15. Plus, I'm going to convert the other one. 23 times 5 gives me 115 over 15. 3 times 5. Now I can add up these numerators. 132 plus 115 is going to give me 247 over 15. And then I'm going to convert that thing back to an improper, convert the improper to a mixed number. And this would be with long division. I'm just using my calculator to divide. So it goes in 16 times with 7 left over. All right, and then number 6. Again, I've already converted it into improper. these thankfully have a common denominator, so I can go straight to, in this case, subtracting the numerators. So 52 minus 39 is going to give me 13 over 7. And convert that thing to a mixed number, I'll have 1 and 6/7. So what I would recommend doing now, I would recommend pausing the video, work through the rest of these that we didn't do in class, and then resume the video to check them with mine. All right, so hopefully you have paused the video and now you're ready to check your answers. And so here are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.